Hey guys, it's Jeremy, and this is a video response to the CraftyGemini who posted a video, I don't know when it was, probably a couple days ago, about the new YouTube layout design, and I wanted to do a quick video response to that video because I was going to just do a typed response, but as I was typing I realized that it would have taken pages and pages for me to be able to explain my true thoughts on it. I'm getting used to the layout right now, and I know a lot of people really don't care for this layout. Now, I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about it at this point. I like it in some ways, I don't like it in other ways. But what I really want to talk about is the fact that I feel when I first saw it, I have to reverse. When I first saw it, it reminded me of Facebook. And when I scrolled down, it just reminded me of the whole layout of Facebook. And my initial thought was that YouTube is trying to jump on this Facebook bandwagon. And what I mean by that is, you see commercials, you see internet websites, you see government campaigns, and everybody's like, oh, link me on Facebook, find me on Facebook. Facebook has really downgraded itself in the last couple years, and I feel like because everybody's trying to jump on it, that it's like a boat that everybody's trying to jump onto, and then it just starts sinking. And I feel like that's what Facebook has become. And generally, people don't like change. People don't like change, especially on the internet, and especially when it comes to Facebook. Facebook has been known in the last 2 years to have changed continually, and people get on all the time wondering, is Facebook going to change on me again today? Am I going to go and find some stupid new feature that I don't care about? Is there going to be some other lame thing, some request that someone's going to send me that I don't care about that's new to Facebook because everybody wants to play it or do it or whatever. And so I think everybody's trying to jump on this Facebook bandwagon, and YouTube tried to do that. Now, because people are resilient to change, and especially when it comes to Facebook, because the changes that are made are so tedious and annoying and are really just revamps of what was good, and it's kind of just the old phrase of if it's not broken, don't fix it. Facebook has a tendency of fixing things that aren't broken. And I feel like YouTube is trying to jump on that and do something that is familiar to people. And what I mean by that is that people are very used to Facebook. There are a lot of people that are on it. There are people that are jumping on it, as I said. And people are familiar with how the layout is. So YouTube wants to jump on that bandwagon and say, okay, well, here's something that is familiar to the general public. Let's make something that they're already familiar with and a layout and a design that they know so that they'll like YouTube more because we look like their favorite social networking site. And I'm really hoping that YouTube doesn't go into social networking because YouTube really just needs to stick to what it's good at, and that's videos, and that's what people like it for. And if it keeps changing too much, people are going to go away from YouTube and find something else. And I guarantee you there are other sites on the internet, people just don't use them because they're not as advanced and not as far off and not as really is what it comes to is that they're not as simple as YouTube. YouTube has a simple structure, a simple layout, something that is easy for people to access, people who are stay-at-home parents, people who are kids, and people who are grown adults, college students, all ages can access YouTube easily. And with complicating things and making things more complicated, it drives people away rather than bringing them in. And in some ways, I feel like the complexity is appealing at first, and that's why so many people jumped from MySpace instantly into Facebook and from other social networking sites into Facebook and jumped onto that bandwagon and totally ditched what originally took them in because the complexity is exotic and it's something different. But after a while, the exoticness wears off and something else becomes popular. Thankfully, YouTube has been high up for a long time, and I think that people like the simplicity of it, that now that it's complicated itself, people don't like that. And again, going back to the fact that people are resilient to changes. And my response to this whole channel design, layout, revamp, reboot, whatever you want to call it, I think that there are pluses and minuses to it. I think that in so many ways, the new YouTube is similar to the old YouTube. And I think the sad and I guess annoying thing is that people who don't like it are just going to have to get used to the fact that it's here and then it's not going to go back to the old YouTube. And there were quite a few comments on the Crafty Gemini's channel page, video, whatever, the video page of saying, I wish that we could go back to the old YouTube. Is there an option for me to go back to the old YouTube? Da 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 da. And I think to be harsh and to be straightforward, you just got to get used to it. It's not going to go back to how it was because this is how it is. When changes are made, it's because that's how they're going to stay for quite a while. I mean, Facebook has not gone back to the original Facebook in the last 2 years. I think we just kind of need to get over ourselves and realize that if you make a social networking site, if you make a website, you're allowed to do whatever you want with it. And while that may not really be the nicest thing to say, it's true. When you make something, you can make whatever changes you want to it. And if people are going to get on it and if people are going to use your site, then they kind of just need to get over themselves because they didn't make the website. While they are the supporters and the creators should listen to their supporters, so the creators really can do whatever they want. And because they've already made the decision to change the website, I don't imagine that it's going to go back to the old anytime soon. But that is my thoughts on the whole thing. I don't really have a review for it because I'm still figuring out everything. I haven't really explored all the new stuff, and I don't know if there's even really that many new things to explore in the first place. Because just what I've seen, it feels similar to the old, that the learning curve doesn't seem too high or too great or whatever. So that is my thoughts on the new YouTube. And if you guys have any thoughts, please post them below. And I will be linking the Crafty Gemini's page below just because this is a response to her. And also I will be posting that video to this video to her video. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Talk to you guys all later.